Hey folks, time once again to do some CSS battles from the past. These are daily targets from February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of 2024. I like doing these, and I've had a lot of fun re-exploring how to, in the smallest amount of code possible, replicate these interesting graphical patterns. All right, so what is this? This is like a, I don't know, it's like a memory card or something. Really interesting, odd thing. I have done this one. I've done all of these before. This one, I think I'm gonna do in a new way. I believe I did this in the past with multiple gradients on the body and then a single element. I think this is two elements. I think that's maybe the better way to do that. So I think the first thing is this dark part. And then I'm gonna add margins here to basically put it into place to make it be exactly that width and height. So that's the first critical thing that I need to do. 50, 60, 70, 70, 70, 80. Looks like they're slightly different. 90, 92, 85. So 86, 7, 8, 88. So very odd number. Well, an even number, but it's a peculiar one. 8125. So that's the height, and that's a pretty straightforward shape. What it's going to need is a clip path or a background to set it. So I'm not going to decide which yet, so I'm going to create another one of these elements, and this one I'm going to put a background of the light color, and I'm going to, using margins, I will put it in precisely covering the cutout area. Background of the, so, and I need to address the second one, not the first one. And just to, yeah, so the margins need to be what, negative, and you can see that little change. I think it's going to be negative, and then I think I am going to need all those numbers. How about 60? How about minus 200? Yeah, and then by adding numbers, so we're getting a new element there. And if I put a ridiculous color like red, you can kind of see what I'm getting at there. All right, so let's adjust those margins. 190, 188. Just a fun number there for the game masters. 115, 16, 17. A little bit tricky, but and then this height is going to be a little different. Height is, I don't know, was it 80 or something? 80 to 75. Okay, and then let's adjust this right hand side margin through 8, 9, 40, 50, 60. That's close. All right, so I'm gonna take away that color. All right, so what do I need to adjust? I think this margin is too much or too little. 175, that's worse. How about 165? And then 66, and then 67. And that's fine. So the background on that has definitely got a border radius. And is it some reasonable number? Let's try a Q value for this. 10Q, 11Q. I'll try 11Q. See if that's pretty good. All right, so the background of this, I think I can accomplish using a single conic gradient. So let's try that. And that is, so we get sizing. All right, so what I would like to do is have it be that color, and then 25%, or when I say 90 degrees, and then the dark color. And I guess in theory we don't even need that. I'm going to do red just so I can see, or I'm going to do white actually. I can see even better. So I want to create a pattern, this window pattern, so that it's a reasonable thing. So I'm going to go like 30 pixels over 0, and then give it a height and width. I'm going to give it a height and width of 50 pixels by 50 pixels, and do a no repeat so I can see whatever the heck it is that I've got going on here. And then it's going to need an at value, at 90%, 90% or something like that. All right, now we can see pretty well. Oh, and it's actually more like at 10%. Like that's how you get a little pattern like that. So less tall. How about 40? How about 38? 39? No, 40 might be right. 40. And then less wide. Is it also 40? And then these numbers are a little wrong. How about 11, 12? No, how about 5? 6%. And then 94%. How about 80%? 83, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I really don't trust those. 7, 3. That could be right. I'm going to let it repeat, and then we should see that block out pretty well. Nope, terrible. Let's just do pixels here. 5 pixels. I think that's just a more reasonable. Or is it 2.5 pixels? No, I just have the location wrong. All right, back to the drawing board. Need to put the no repeat back on because I got it wrong. So I think this background position is wrong. 5. 40. Where am I going wrong? That's what I want to know. How about 30? How about 25? And then this needs to be a little wider, doesn't it? 25. And now when I do the no repeat, does it look better? Yes. All right, so that's the first part. And both these elements need margins, so we can turn them into CSS custom variables, var -m, or those numbers. And then I can just use -m instead of the word margin. And then the height also -h or 125, and then I can set -h. And border radius we don't need to use in that way because we only need to specify it on one of these elements. So background, this makes me think that rather than using a clip path to clip out this part, I'll use a background. And then the other part of this. Oh yeah, so here's the background. What's the background? Linear gradient of 45 degrees, and it's going to be dark and then transparent. Call it 80% 0. That gets you that shape. How about 85, 6, 7, 8, 9. Great. And then we can turn that into a variable too. How about G for background? Don't forget your semicolons. And so this then is, so that's those shapes. Let's submit it and see if we get a 100% match, which is our goal in these cases. In all cases, really. All right. and that's 100% match. So I like this solution a lot. Pretty clean. I feel like I did a lot more hemming and hawing with the clip path and with unsetting it, and complicated margins on the body. So this is a far better solution than I've done in the past. All right, that's great. Let's resubmit, and that's done. And that is a higher score than I've gotten in the past. All right, this is one of those ones where it seems, so I like this one. Why do I like this one? I like this. So what's the way to make this? I've done these with all background. So radial gradient, or a repeating radial gradient with background size, right? Makes it repeat. Then linear gradients. I think today, what I feel like is doing this. What's the way I think about doing this today? A combination, I think. So what's that combination? Let's make a decision about the shape that I would like to do this in. Because this is another one where it's not really clear to me what the finest way to do this is, because it's complicated in many ways. But let's do as little as possible. So let's put this background, and let's not do any margins. So if we had, what do we need to do to create an element that is exactly that? Radial gradient, circle, and then and then I guess it's transparent in the middle, blue, and then transparent. And I would like it to be tall, 2, 3. And by default, without those numbers, it's just as big as it can possibly be. So I need numbers there. Let's do 40 pixels, 0, 60 pixels, 0. Let's put a display flex. And then give these widths. If it's 400, like 125. And then we do 3 of them. All right. All right. So this is sort of what we get for free. So how do we optimize for this? I think we're going to want margins here, probably, but let's not do that yet. All right, the circles are too big, so how about 30, 40, 30, 50? Is that the number? So let's make the height of this a little less tall, and can we line this up? Okay, and then we're going to do the thing that we do. Align items, center, justify content, center. And if we do that, what width will line all of these up neatly? Oh, well, 100. That's great. So, and then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So that's centering on that axis. All right, so let's get, okay. So if they're each 100 wide, let's do that. There we go. Okay, so what height will put this right in the center. Okay, so I've got a set of numbers there. And what's on the body? And I'm going to put so I can see. So this is how to get those. Now we can move those in several different ways. We can move the two ones on the side in several ways. And for me, the question is, do these lines belong on the body or on the element itself? It has me thinking maybe we want the tall version. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that what we want to do? Maybe that's what we want to do. So let's do the inner as dark. And how about a linear gradient to get the line? Or even better, how about, better for me, and let's make this transparent. Let's do a conic gradient. And it's going to be 25% of this blue color. And then the rest is transparent, like that. So we need an at value. So I think it's at 20 pixels. No, it's at, what is it at? What is it at? I'm not sure what it's at. It's at, oh, because we want to do transparent of 75%. So that code looks like that. Okay. And then we move that conic gradient 0. Okay. Yeah, that moves it over. So we're moving background position 40%, and then 100 pixels down, 200 pixels down, 180 pixels down, something like that. All right, so that's what we've got right now. Is this worthwhile? Is the question. And do we get anything by making these heights, higher? Maybe we do. So what if how can we move those into place as best as we can? No, maybe we don't want that height. Yeah, no, we do. We need that height, don't we? We liked the height because of where it, okay. Where are we at? I'm trying to do the minimum code, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 300, 10, 20, 30. There it is. Okay. Now, let's, no, that's not the way we do that. I'm wrong. The circle always goes in the middle, and that's the thing that's kind of killing me right now. I think I do need it at 50%, 10 pixels. Pixels, 90 pixels. I'm adjusting these numbers to get that right where I want it. Okay, and then let's move the conic gradient downward. And then, so there's that. And then if we do 5, 7, 40 pixels down, 20 pixels down, there it is. Is that what I want? Yes. Okay. There are a lot of numbers here, and it concerns me that it's not slightly easier to do. So I'm adding an attribute here to the first and third ones because I'm going to make a translate, which is to say move it lower. And I guess I could do it with margin. Actually, I could do it with margin top, something like that. Maybe that's the simplest. Let's do that. Margin top. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right. Okay, no translate. Instead, using margin top to move those down. That's a pretty good set of code. So I'm submitting to see if I get a 100% match. I do not. That is a 99.9% match. So what is the problem? Is this radial gradient wrong? Is the percentages maybe wrong? Let's try that. Do we have a bad color? Is that possible? Okay, so that's a 100% match. And oh, one thing I don't like is this justify content. So let's change our margins. Margin. That's going to move everything, regrettably. So I'm going to do two numbers. I want the top number to be more, 10, and this number to be more, so probably 50, 11, 12, how about 8, 8. So that's the margin that we're setting. Okay. Not too bad. Not totally happy with this. I think there are so many different ways to do it that I get bogged down. Unit replace and minify, and I believe that's all she wrote. Let's submit, and we're done with this guy. That's a fun one. Many choices. This is a better score than I've gotten in the past. So CSSBattle.dev servers are saying, yes, this is better code than you wrote before. Okay, I like that. Next, oh, this one I have done many times in many different ways because it is definitely a complicated one. However, I think that I understand it a little bit better. One thing that I've always done is use try to do very elaborate backgrounds, and I think the proper way to do this is to base things on rounded rectangles. So border radius 10q, let's say, and then have a background or a border 10 pixels solid, that color, and then the inner is going to be dark. So let's do that, and let's remove the background here. And that is our shape. So that's great. So let's do the first one. So it's what, 20Q or something? No, that's the border radius. We want more of a border 2. And then let's use margins on the element to move it down. The hard part is the wire part. I guess this is, it's like a USB or a video cable of some kind. All right, so let's move this down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 75. Okay. And then more margin. 5, 2. More of a border radius. 2, 20Q, 21, 21Q. Okay. And let's change the height. We would like to do as many of these parts as possible, so we want to get this curve and this curve, which is what we can do from this, and then we'll get to this bend in the curve later. All right, so the height is 30, 40, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Well, that is the start. All right, and we want another one. One wasn't enough. That's the other. So to do that, we need to do the same thing again. So we're going to set margins and a height. It's got to be taller, right? That's a longer part of the wire. And we want to put that right into place. So both height and margins need to be variables. So we make another one. We need to move it upward, so that's a negative top margin 100. And then we don't know what numbers we need for the rest of it. And I did a minus 100. So minus, and we need to make sure we're only addressing the second one. Okay. So what we care about is getting this to be small, to 5, 6, 7, and then what, 100, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82. And then this number is maybe too low, it's too far negative, so 98, 97, 96, 95. And then the height is not high enough. 110, 120, 130, 40. Okay. So those are our basic shapes, right? So we need a clip path on each, which is also going to be a slightly different clip path for both. So var -- p for path, and it's going to be a polygon. And we want, so what do we need? We're going to cover this top part. So I believe what we need is the top 100% over, or 0, 0, and then we need the top right corner 100%, 0, and we do need the bottom corner 100%, 100%, and then we want to go over like halfway, so 50%, 100%. Then we need to go upward, and I guess strictly speaking, we might be able to get away with just that, and we almost can. So this clip path, we want to unset. And it looks like we can't quite do 50%, 100%. We do need to go 50%. 50% probably will work. No, we can't, because there's that little bit of offness there. So let's decrease or increase 53, 53. That looks pretty good. So we just need that part of the wire, and so we have a minimum clip path to do that. With this one, this polygon, we want the upper right hand corner, so 0, 0, and then we want to go like over to 80%, 0, and then 80%, 100% is fine, and then 0, 100%. And is that working? No, it is not currently working. So why? Oh, because I didn't have a semicolon. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That's two very specific clip paths to cut out the parts of this polygon that we don't need. And you can't really see what that's doing. I'll put a background on it, and then you can see. So these are the shapes. These are the weirdo shapes that we've got, which are fun. Like that's really fun. Okay, and then lastly, we need this part up here. So how do we do that part? Let's have another one, and let's go ahead and we'll put an attribute on it so we can address it directly. So we'll do C, and that has a height of like 60. Clip path, we need to unset. So we'll do --P for path is unset, and we can use hackery to make that not be exactly that. Let's do a background of red so we can see it. Clip path, --P is unset, and let's put margins to make that go up. --M minus 300, let's say. And the polygon is not unsetting correctly. Clip path none. And then we need we're missing a semicolon. There it is. Okay, so we don't want a border. So border, I guess we have to unset as well, and that that stinks a lot. Let's do border none. All right, so let's use our margins to put this in the right place. 28, 275, 4, and let's go ahead and use that purple because it is most of what that shape is going to be. We need more margin here. 200, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That height needs to be less, 50. Okay. And that border radius is probably a little bit wrong as well. In fact, let's make that also variable. Bar --R is a variable, and then we need to set it 0, 10Q, 10Q, 0. Close. Need more margin here. 1, 2, and then more margin here. 5, 51. Oh, and look at that. That is behind. that is, even though that clip path does, yeah, so something about the clip path is breaking what I was trying to do there. So I think that means that we need to make this clip path more responsible, more complicated. Be that as it may. That's a fun discovery. All right. Okay. So let's do this background, and I believe this is conic gradient, which is purple 50%, and then this color 75%, and then transparent. So that's what that looks like. Those are evenly distributed. Now when I do an at 10 pixels, 10 pixels, we get that. How about, and does that mean that our margins are wrong on this element? Maybe. How about 50, 52? There it is. Okay, and now we need a height. So this is, that conic gradient is 0, is at 0, 0. It means it has to start at the upper corner, and then it has a width of 100% and a height of some number, 40 pixels, let's say. And then there's 30 pixels, 20, 40 is correct. All right, now we got a problem. If we, so right now we've got clip path none. How about a polygon that just includes the whole thing? Even though we shouldn't have to do that. 0, 0, 100%, 0, 100%, 100%, and then 0, 100%. And then that works. Otherwise, the clip paths interact with each other. I think I discovered this once. I had likes on posts that I was using a star for, and it interacted in very odd ways when other elements were adjacent. Let's submit that. So yeah, this is still a complicated shape, an enjoyable one, a weird one, but definitely a lot of moving parts there. Okay, so what can we do to optimize this? None of these have backgrounds on them, so this can keep its background. Border none. If I set this as a variable, var --b, I can do --b, and I think have it work. Yeah, so that short circuits the value for border radius, or for border rather. Border radius we're already using as a variable, and that's it. That is my crazy solution to this one. Let's minify it and unit replace and submit, and that's how we do that. Super duper fun, weird shapes, but a lot of work, a lot of individual math, but 3 elements, 3 paragraph elements, and like I do sometimes. I will put some text in here. So look, there's this. You can actually put text in there, and how about this one? How about this one? So, you know, I don't know what kind of layout you would, what kind of layout you could do with this, but it would not be very accessible and it'd be very tricky to read, but still, it's in the fun category. HTML and CSS are awesome. I hope you make something cool with HTML and CSS today. It is a publishing platform that is available to you. Lots of great hosts and tools out there for people. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.